Hi there, welcome to Magpie Mine in Derbyshire. So at the moment it's about 6:30. It's definitely the coldest morning we've had yet this autumn because we've had a frost this morning and it's really quite bitter, but I'm wrapped up so that's not a problem, and I've come to the Magpie Mine in Derbyshire, and this is an old abandoned lead works, so I'm here for the sunrise, which should happen probably in the next 20 or 25 minutes. So what I'm going to do in this time is I'm going to try and find a good location. I'm already in a spot that I think will make a good photograph that you can see behind me as the sun rises and lights up these buildings just here. But I'm going to have a quick scout round, but I know this morning I'm really going to enjoy my photography. Just before the video gets started, I want to let you know of a few ways that you can support the channel. There are lots of items in my Teespring store, and there's a link for that down below in the description. A really big thank you to everybody that's bought something. It's such a big help and it really is appreciated. You can also do all the stuff with the buttons down below, such as clicking like, subscribe and sharing the videos, and don't forget to click the bell. Thanks so much for watching. Now sit back and I hope you enjoy the video. What I've done is I've had a walk around the site and I've tried to just get a feel for the location, where the sun is going to come up and what would make a good composition. Now I'm at the far side of the little complex and I'm looking directly towards the sun at the moment, so I've taken a few silhouettes with the sky behind, but because we've got a pretty much clear blue sky today, I'm not sure that's going to be the most effective angle to take the shot at. Maybe if I can get the sun coming through some of the metalwork of the winding wheel, that might work quite nicely. But I think the best shot is going to be from the other side with the sun lighting up the buildings, and there's a few different angles that I've spotted that look really attractive. So if I can get the photographs bathed in lovely warm autumnal sunlight, it'll really make the photographs pop. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm just taking a few test shots to get an idea of the compositions and finding different locations ready for when the sun does actually rise. But it will be really useful because what I'll be able to do is show you the difference in this light compared with the difference when the sun rises and hits the side of the buildings, and we can see what difference that makes. So when the sun comes up, I'm going to be really lost for things to photograph because there's so many possible compositions. The buildings are so interesting in their own right, but there's loads of extra little things all the way around. There's winding gear, there's millstones, I've seen some pipes on the floor. And so it's just a photographer's paradise. Lots of things to just look for compositions with and just play about with. So when the sun does actually rise, probably now in about 10 minutes, it can't be very far away at all, it's just going to really kick off. So in this shot, the lighting is quite flat because the sun hasn't risen yet, and the sky is very plain because there weren't any clouds. So there's just a very vague hint of colour in the sky just behind the chimney, but it's not very interesting. So what I did is I added this sky to the image. Now this is a really simple process using a program called Luminar Neo. It's just a single click and the program does all the masking and cutting out for you, and it even relights the foreground to match any colours that are in the sky. So I think the addition of some clouds really improves the image. The earliest recorded workings here at Magpie Mine date back to 1740, and it was one of many ventures exploring the lead veins in this area. Right from the start, the miners had difficulty keeping water out of the mine shafts, and so in 1824 the Newcomen type pump engine was erected to pump water out of the mine shafts, and by 1827 a record was set of 800 tonnes of lead being removed from the mine, and this record remained unbroken until 1871. The mine has over 20 shafts, and the site, including all of the buildings, are maintained by the Peak District Mines Historical Society. Now, chief amongst these are the Cornish pump house and the distinctive round chimney. Derbyshire miners were supposedly not able to build round chimneys, and all of these buildings are now protected as an ancient monument. The sun at the moment is very close to being up. I can actually see the sun, but at the moment it's behind a copse of trees on the top of the hill in the distance, so those trees are stopping the sunlight hitting these buildings here behind me. So what I'm doing while I'm waiting for the sun just to pop up above the top of those trees is I'm trying to take a shot of the sun through the trees. So what I've done is I've really narrowed the aperture down in the hope of trying to get a sunburst. It's not actually working at the moment, but as the sun just pops above the top of the trees, I might get the sunburst that I'm after. So at the moment the sunlight is only just catching the top of the building, so while I'm just waiting for it to fully light the building, I might as well make the most of the sunlight through those trees. So this is one of the angles that I chose earlier because I like the composition. I expected the sun to light the side of the pump house when it rose, but it came up further south and missed the side of the pump house. This shot would work in the summer when the sun rises more in the east, but as a result, I think I prefer the original as the lighting's more even. I did add a little cloud though to just balance the composition. Production of lead did continue on and off into the 20th century, and in 1913 an optimistic report said that there would be reserves of about 4 million tonnes of lead still available. This led to the then owner to join up with businessmen from Sheffield and Glasgow to reopen the mine, but this venture closed in 1919. The owner, Edgar Garlick, did reopen the mine again in 1923, but went into liquidation the year after. Following the Second World War, the mine was opened again and was fitted with modern technology such as electric pumps and a diesel winch, but no great body of ore was found, and the mine closed for the last time in 1954. The lighting's changed quite a bit because some clouds come in. Every so often the sun is just poking through a few holes in the clouds. At the moment the buildings are completely flat because the sun is behind a cloud, but every so often I get a little bit of light on the building, which is okay. So I'll probably end up calling it a day fairly soon, but I have just found a composition here with a puddle on the ground and the buildings in the background, and what I've tried to do is get the camera very low to the ground so I can get the top of the chimney and the puddle, but minimize the amount of distance between the bottom of the buildings and the puddle so I don't get too much grass. And that's a good tip. Think about that kind of thing. If I'd got the tripod very high, I'd have loads of grass in between the puddle and the bottom of the buildings that wouldn't be very interesting. So getting the camera really down low has really improved this shot. The lighting's now gone completely flat, so I think I'll leave it there for today, but what I'll do is I'll show you some of my favourite photographs from the morning. So I've had a great morning, but it's been very changeable weather conditions. We started off with that blue sky and that great sunrise. Now I might find when I get some of those images back in the computer, I might have to add some skies to those pictures just to make them a little bit more interesting, because a blue sky is never very interesting. Now it's clouded over, and unfortunately it's quite a heavy cloud with no interest. So this doesn't help much either. But even so, it's still been great stretching my creativity, coming to a new place to try and find good compositions and think of different ideas. It's a marvelous place, and I'd love to come back again because I have seen some really interesting ideas of images from this location. I've seen astrophotography, and I've seen people lighting wire wool and spinning it so sparks come off. It's all about trying something different just to make your photography interesting. Well, if you have enjoyed this video, do let me know down below in the comments, or nip over to my Vero account, that's at Oakden Photography. Leave me your comments there, and you can also see lots of my photos. Now, if you like what I do on the channel and want to help support me to make future content like this, you can also visit my Teespring store. There I've got a range of merchandise on offer, and a purchase really helps me out. And don't forget the super thanks button. But you don't have to spend any money at all to support the channel. You can do that simply by clicking like, subscribe, and the bell notifications, because that really helps me out and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any future content. Watch out for next week's video. That goes live on Sunday. In the meantime, go and check out this video just up here. But all that's left now is to say, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.